The notice requirement provided for the Open Public Meetings Law has been satisfied. Notice was properly given. Said notice has been transmitted to the Courier News on Tuesday, January 8th, 2026, as well as posted on the city's website. Roll call.
Council members Briggs Jones.
Present.
Graham.
Present.
McCray.
Present.
Wyatt.
Present.
Sessoms.
Present.
Vice President Hockaday.
Present.
Council President Cherry.
Present.
All members present and a quorum.
All right, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. Tonight's Pledge of Allegiance is going to be led by Raina Wyatt for Women's History Month.
Do I say this one? Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
Please remain standing. Please remain standing.
Humbly we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, to give the entire family of nations true agreement with his will, and to grant the light of his spirit on all those who work for justice and peace. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Raina. All right, may I have a motion to approve the minutes from the council meeting on February 9th?
So moved. Second.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded. All right, going to the discussion items. I want to first have a moment of silence for Connor Oldfield. Now, I know that a couple of my council colleagues and I, we were out looking for Connor, and we kept Connor and his mother and his father and sister and grandmother and family and friends in their prayers. While it wasn't the outcome that we wanted, we want to have a quick moment of silence and keep their family in prayer. Thank you. Let's continue to keep that family in our prayers as they continue to struggle with us. So in honor of Women's History Month, we did have Miss Raina Wyatt, which is the son of our Councilman Richard Wyatt. We're going to now have daughter of Richard Wyatt, Councilman Richard Wyatt, daughter. Now we're going to have Taylor Leverett. She's going to read a Women's History Month essay, which is the daughter of Councilwoman Dr. Darcella Sessoms.
Good evening. Mayor Mapp, Council President Cherry, esteemed council members, and Plainfield residents. My name is Taylor Nicole Leverett. I'm a high school honors student graduating this June who was eligible to vote in my first election this November. I was honored when Council President Cherry asked me to share about the origin of Women's History Month. Due to time limitations, I will provide a brief overview, but you can learn more about it at Plainfield Library. In 1978, Women's History Month began as a local celebration in California, but it was only Women's History Week. The organizers selected the week of March 8th to correspond with International Women's Day. In 1978, several women's groups and historians successfully lobbied for national recognition. In February 1980, President Jimmy Carter issued the first presidential proclamation declaring the week of March 8th as National Women's History Week. From 1980 to 1986, U.S. presidents continued to proclaim a National Women's History Week in March. However, the greatest of what women bring to this world cannot be contained in mere week-long celebration. We needed an entire month. So in 1987, Congress passed Public Law 100-9, designating March as Women's History Month. Since being signed into law, each president has issued an annual proclamation designating the month of March as Women's History Month. I am privileged because I have been raised by great women, but I am also fortunate to live in a city where strong and intelligent women are not the exception but the norm. Plainfield has past, present, future of women who have helped our city thrive. Plainfield women are trailblazers in everything they do. They serve our city, government, business, education, law enforcement, nonprofits, and the toughest job of all, being moms. The city of Plainfield should always support, protect, uplift, and respect women in everything they do. And as women, we should be real sisters to one another by having each other's back. This month, as we recognize and honor how incredible all women are, I hope we will show our appreciation by honoring the spirit, legacy, and love that each woman brings and continue to inspire future generations to work towards making Plainfield a loving community for everyone. Happy Women's History Month, and to everyone, and thank you, Council President Cherry, for giving me this opportunity to represent the young women of our city.
Thank you, Taylor. Let's get up for both these young ladies again. All right. Moving on to the next discussion item, CBAC. I want to thank my council colleagues for submitting your nominees for the 2026 CBAC. I've asked the city clerk to submit the correspondence to the Director of Finance so the committee members could begin familiarizing themselves with the budget. Hopefully, we could begin that process within the next 30 days, correct? All right, thank you. The next discussion item, which is not on the agenda, is I want to just clarify a memo that came out on February 13th. And that memo talked about remote public comment. And what it did, it cited that if someone wanted to make remote public comment, they needed to now make comment in person. And I want to clarify that the only person that's authorized to make that decision is the council president. When my council colleagues unanimously voted me in, I had the ethical integrity to protect their ethical integrity of the council. I think about the senior that's disabled at Richmond Towers, the resident that's at 1272 on Park Avenue. I think about the mother that is currently feeding her child or doing homework that would like to call in. So with that being said, within the next 30 days, I will do everything I can to reinstate remote public comment. While I know that the city will not be able to provide that assistance to the council, we're going to be looking for an intern to provide that level of assistance. Please know that at the next council meeting, remote public comment will be reinstated. All right. Moving on to the agenda. We have ordinances on MC 2026-04 through MC 2026-05, which are scheduled for public hearing, and final passage for regular meeting as advertised. We're going to move on to resolutions. Legislative body, R125 through 20, resolutions R125-26 through resolutions 131-26. Are there any questions? Do we have consensus to add these to the agenda?
Yes.
Any items that we want to move? Do we have consensus to take, are there any items that we wish to take off the consent agenda? No? All right. Mayor, administration, would you please present your items?
Yes, so we have 3 items this evening for your consideration. They're all recognition items, but the one that I did want to highlight is that on March 14th at 5 o'clock at City Hall we're going to be having the flag raising for Autism Acceptance and Awareness Month. So I wanted to make sure everyone was aware of that. Again, March 14th, 5 p.m. at City Hall. That's it. Thank you.
All right, any questions? Do we have consensus to add this to the voting meeting?
Yes.
All right. Are there any items that we want to take off? All right, seeing none, we're going to go to Corporation Council. Could you please present your items?
Thank you, Council President. This evening are 2 items for consideration by Council. The first one is a amendment to the resolution for qualified vendors. The Office of Corporation Counsel went out to seek a wider pool for legal services for the upcoming year, and this is a reflection of the responses that we got back. All of the additional law firms are highlighted in your council packet. The second item is a resolution for award of a professional services contract for bond counsel to Everett Johnson from the firm of Wilentz, Goldman, and Spitzer. Mr. Johnson has been our bond counsel well over a decade and has provided excellent service, and I ask that he be reappointed for this year.
All right, any questions? Any questions? All right, do we have consensus to add this to the voting meeting?
Yes.
All right, moving on. The Department of Finance, could you please present your items?
Good evening, all. I have 4 resolutions for your approval. Resolution authorizing the adoption of the current fund temporary emergency appropriations budget. This is updated every month for expenditures and for any grants that may be added. Resolution R-138-26 is resolution authorizing the execution of an agreement between Mercury Public Affairs, and this is for assistance with our grant writing. Resolution R-139-26, resolution authorizing the approval to cancel taxes in the amount of $6,114, and this is for one veteran who is 100% disabled. And resolution R-140-26, resolution authorizing the tax refund on properties per the attached schedule, and those are for duplicate payments made by CoreLogic. Are there any questions?
Any questions? All right, do we have consensus to add these to the voting meeting?
Yes.
All right. Will the Police Department, can you please, Police Director, could you please present your items?
Good evening, Madam Council President. I have one item for your consideration tonight. That's R-141-26. It's a resolution authorizing approval to apply and accept the New Jersey Division of Highway and Safety's distracted driving statewide crackdown grant. This grant is known as Put the Phone Away or Pay, and it's based around the month of April being the National Distracted Driving Awareness Month.
All right, any questions? All right, do we have consensus to add these items to the voting meeting?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Department of Public Works, could you please present your items?
Okay, Director Dabney can't be with us, so I'll speak for him. He has 3 items this evening for your consideration. The first one is looking for approval to submit and accept a grant. As you know, we have to do some remediation work over at the Madison Avenue Skate Park in order to make that into the exercise park that we're trying to do. So we're looking to apply for this grant for $560,000, which is about 75% of the cost of the mediation work. So if we get that, then we would be able to start. The second one is a resolution for a change order. This is the reason that we're having this change order is we added 2 other streets to this speed hump project. We added Berkeley Terrace and Reeve Terrace. So that cost another about $27,000, and then plus returning the performance bond gets us up to about $35,000. And then the third one is awarding a contract to Portofino Builders. This is for the Third Place roadway improvements. It's milling, paving, curbing, et cetera, and it's entirely CDBG grant funded.
All right. Do we have any questions?
Madam President,
Yes.
I have a question. And I don't expect an answer, but just something to consider. So I've been following, as probably most residents, what's happening in Trenton with the $3 billion almost deficit in the state budget, which for those of us who work in Trenton, we know that there are going to be some serious cuts. Have we thought about what would our contingency be if a lot of these grants got pulled back? Are we beginning to think about, some alternatives? And if we had to prioritize, sometimes the state will say, prioritize which ones you want us to cut and which ones you don't. So are we at least beginning to think about that? Because that $3 billion deficit that affects the entire state, my concern is DCA is going to be one of the biggest agencies to take a hit, and we know DCA has been a great supporter of the city of Plainfield. The mayor and his administration has done a great job with fostering that relationship, but $3 billion deficit is still $3 billion deficit.
Yeah, it's a great question. It is something that we think about every year because when we do our regular budget, we have to put in our down payment for capital. So we always know ahead of time how much we can spend in capital. And when we do the capital budget, we really think about, okay, what if this grant is cut? What if this grant is cut? And so we prioritize into the capital budget what the priority projects are. So capital is really the only other avenue we have besides the grants, and that's kind of the time where we list them out as priorities.
Thank you for that.
No problem.
Any other questions?
Yes, Council President.
Yes.
There's two. The first one, the outdoor fitness park, do we have a timetable estimate of when that will be completed?
So hopefully, well, we have reason to believe we probably will get this grant, but then they could start the work this spring, and then DEP has to come back out, reevaluate, make sure it's up to their standards. We already do have all the funding, though, so we would be ready to go once DEP gave us the okay about if the work we did was satisfactory. I don't know what their timeline is, but ours is soon.
Okay, one more question. R-144-26, of course, we had a brutal winter. It may not feel like it today because it's very nice outside, but the salt and the plows tore our streets up. So do we have a plan in place to go and correct the big, large potholes throughout the city?
They were actually out today doing potholes. So now that it's warmer, you're going to see a lot of the pothole repair. I mean, they always do it in the spring, but they don't usually start this early. But since it was 75 degrees, they did go out today and start.
Thank you.
Any other questions? The only thing I'm going to add is, maybe this is for Public Works. Can someone secure the skate park? Oftentimes when I'm driving by, I see youth that are in the park, and I know that we have contaminants in there. I often see youth in that park.
Okay, I'll speak to him, because there's a certain way we're supposed to have it closed off with certain signage because the way DEP is, so I'll make sure that we're doing it in compliance.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Any other questions? All right, thank you. Department of Economic Development, present their
That's
resolution.
also going to be me.
Yep.
Okay, so the Department of Economic Development has 4 items on for you this evening for your consideration. The first is a resolution authorizing the release of a performance bond for the project that's known as Pickle Rage, because they have met some of their construction goals. The second one is authorizing the planning board to conduct an area in need of redevelopment investigation for a city-owned property. The third is another planning board, directing the planning board to review the Plainfield Ave redevelopment plan and provide recommendations. We're looking for recommendations to increase revitalization of that area. There are commercial vacancies that have sat for a long time there. So we're looking for revitalization ideas. And then the fourth one is the redevelopment agreement for 611 West Front, which is the project we reviewed in September when we signed the MOA with the developer who fronted us the community benefit. So this, I assume you guys know the details about this because we've been over it before, but just to remind you, it's 501 units, it's an 18,000 square foot grocery store, 13,500 square feet of office space, and it has been adopted before, but we're bringing it back.
All right, I'll entertain any questions. All right.
Yes.
Go ahead. Councilwoman?
Yes. R-148-26.
Yes.
That's for the 611 that we were talking about. I knew I had mentioned this before. I believe it was September when we had our meeting, and it was stated that the soil at 611 had underwent testing. However, were the results made publicly available, or is there a designated channel for disseminating the findings of the soil testing, and how can we access that information?
Okay, so you're looking for the soil analysis,
Right,
basically.
because I know Marino's been there as long as I've been here, 50-something. I've been here 57 years. So,
I'll find out from the director if she can release those results to council.
okay, all right. and the property, the 930 Putnam Avenue. I know you don't go by, unless you have facts, you have to have facts, but I don't know why the word is going around that the place, for the veterans is supposed to not exist anymore, and I'm hoping that's not the case, and you were saying that it's city-owned, but there's a concern, about the veterans. Hopefully they won't be displaced, or they're not there anymore, or can you just bring us up to speed and let the constituents know?
Yes, so that's the Dudley House
Right.
location, and the
Right.
Dudley House was closed by the county effective mid-February. Everybody who was there has been replaced into other locations. The county worked closely with them from, I think, early December through the date of closure, and they weren't going to close until everyone was replaced. But even though it's city-owned, it wasn't city-funded for operations. So we own the property, but we didn't pay to keep the Dudley House going. It's not one of our budget items. It's a county budget item, and also the operator was paying. So when the county had to remove their funds, the operator couldn't absorb all of the, what the county was taking away, and so they had to make the decision to close. We are looking at that area, though, for potential other veteran housing
Okay, all right, for that particular property?
for that particular property.
All right, so there is the plans. Okay, I just want to know, because I would like for, especially for our veterans, if there's some that live near, especially our veterans that have paved the way for us.
Yeah.
I would like for them to come back, and future veterans that might need housing, because homeless is on the rise with everybody. And then if you're homeless, then now you have people that have this mind thing going on where we have this mental illness, and it can become something else. So that's definitely a concern for me.
B.A. Levison, could you elaborate on that, the Dudley House being, that you're looking at that for veterans? Are you looking at that for being city-funded or state-funded?
No, it wouldn't be done through the city or through the state, but we're sending it to the planning board to look at, to decide if it is an area in need of, and then potentially a private developer who's interested in doing veterans housing there.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other questions? All right, seeing none, do we have consensus to add these items to the voting meeting?
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, will the Director of Health and Human Services please present your items?
Thank you, Council President. The resolution before you authorizes the City of Plainfield to enter into a shared service agreement with the Township of Irvington for the provision of licensed health officer services for a one-year period. Under New Jersey law, municipalities are required to have a licensed health officer overseeing public health services, and the state's shared service statute allows municipalities to enter into these types of agreements. Because the number of licensed health officers is so limited statewide, these shared service arrangements are common throughout New Jersey's public health system. The health officer will provide statutory oversight of public health services, while the operational portion of the work will be handled by the department director in Irvington. I would be happy to answer any questions that the council may have.
All right. Any questions?
Yes, Council President.
Yes.
Director, with us entering into the shared agreement, how much work time would this particular health officer spend on Plainfield-related matters, if you can share at all?
Okay. So the health officer, our health officer, will be full-time for the city of Plainfield, will continue to be full-time. The services that he will do are all the statutory requirements, such as regulatory oversight, issuing public health orders if they are needed, oversight of communicable diseases and reporting, and supervision of the environmental health programs. So basically, also, he is a signator for any forms that have to be submitted, or any records that have to be submitted to the state. The day-to-day operations, the monitoring of staff, all that stuff is handled by their department director, their director of health and senior services.
So he's regulatory, not operational?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, do we have consensus to add these items to the voting meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, thank you. So we now move on to ordinances on first reading. Will the business administrator please present the items, the ordinances listed on first reading, MC 2026-04 and MC 2026-05?
Yes, thank you, Council President. We have two ordinances for your consideration this evening on first reading. The first is the financial agreement that goes with the redevelopment agreement that we just discussed for 611 East Front. And what I do want to highlight about this financial agreement, I know we've seen it a bunch of times, but I do want to highlight that over the life of the agreement, the 30 years, the city will see $57.7 million in tax revenue, whereas if we did nothing with this property and kept it the way it is, in 30 years, over 30 years, we'd see about $2 million. So it's about a $55 million gain for the city. And the second ordinance is a adoption of the 14th Amendment to the 197 Scattered Sites Redevelopment Plan. This is putting in the bulk standards section where it says the feet and the stories. This is making the 35 feet 3 stories, which is what 35 feet is. It had said 2.5. There isn't really a half a story, so it's 3 stories for 35 feet.
All right. Any questions?
Madam President?
Sure. Go ahead, Councilman Wyatt.
Yes. MC 2026-04, can you reiterate for the record the community benefit agreement?
Yes, great thing to bring up. So the community benefit is $3.75 million for this project. 1.5 was fronted to us in September to help save the neighborhood health center, and the other 2.25 million is going to go for the shuttle that we plan to have going throughout downtown.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, do I have consensus to add these items to the voting meeting?
Yes.
All right, great. All right, can I have a motion for a 5-minute recess?
So, seconded.
All right, thank you. Motion All right. We now move on to ordinances on second reading and final passage. Madam Deputy, can you please read MC 2026-03 by title and further certify that the ordinance has complied with all statutory publications and requirements?
MC 2026-03 is an ordinance of the City of Plainfield, County of Union, New Jersey, adopting an amended homeownership small lots redevelopment plan dated February 5th, 2026. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on February 12th, 2026.
All right. So the floor is now open to any member of the public who would like to speak on this ordinance. May I have anybody? Yes, the floor is now open. All right, may I have a motion to close public comment? On this-
Seconded.
All right. May I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage? And if this is adopted, the ordinance shall be published and required by law?
Seconded.
Clerk, can I please have a roll call?
Roll call MC 2026-03. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Vice President Hockaday.
Yes.
Council President Cherry.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
All right. We now move on to public comment limited to resolutions and motions. A total of 30 minutes has been allocated for all public comments. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes. Please state your name and municipality and identify the resolution that you are going to speak about. The floor is now open.
Nancy Pivovar, Plainfield. Ordinance or resolutions 148-26 Marinos. I appreciate Councilwoman Briggs Jones for asking about the contamination there. Since I go down that street every day, it hasn't been cleaned up, but the sign saying that it's contaminated, it's not there. So I would ask the city to check with DEP and see why the sign was taken down, because it is a concern. We do have a high rate of asthma in this city, and there's friable dirt there and everything, and as far as I know, it hasn't been cleaned up, and I don't know why the contaminated sign is missing. Stevens Oil Company at the other corner maintains a sign on their property at all times, and I appreciate the fact that they do that. 146-26 Dudley House. Does anybody know why the county pulled out on our veterans? We're currently in a new war, and we're going to have veterans returning home damaged and hurt, and probably going to need housing. So, it's a surprise to me that the county pulled out, and why did they pull out? Thank you.
Thank you. We'll have your questions answered at the end, okay? Any other questions? All right, we have a motion to close public comments.
So moved. Seconded.
All right, Mr. Clerk, could you please announce the consent agenda?
Yes, Madam President. The consent agenda items have been identified as resolutions 125-26 through resolutions 149-26.
May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? All right, Clerk, can I please have a roll call?
Roll call on the consent agenda items. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Vice President Hockaday.
Yes.
Council President Cherry.
Yes.
The consent agenda items have been approved.
All right. We now come to ordinances on first reading. Madam Deputy, could you please read MC 2026-04 by title?
MC 2026-04 is an ordinance of the City of Plainfield, County of Union, New Jersey, granting a tax exemption pursuant to the long-term tax exemption law and the redevelopment area bond financing law with respect to certain property identified on the city's tax map as Block 233, Lots 2, 611-19 West Front Street, 3, 605-609 West Front Street, 7, 118-20 Plainfield Avenue, and 12, 115-33 Waynewood Park, Plainfield, New Jersey, and authorizing the execution of a financial agreement with BH 611 West Front Urban Renewal, LLC, and authorizing certain other actions in connection therewith.
All right, I'll now entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance on first reading.
So moved. Second.
All right. Clerk, can I please have a roll call?
Roll call MC 2026-04. Council members Briggs Jones.
No.
Graham.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Vice President Hockaday.
Yes.
Council President Cherry.
Yes.
6 in favor, 1 opposed. Ordinance has been adopted on first reading.
All right, we now come to ordinances on first reading. Madam Deputy, will you please read MC 2026-05 by title?
MC 2026-05 is an ordinance of the City of Plainfield, County of Union, New Jersey, adopting the 14th Amendment to the 197 Scattered Sites Redevelopment Plan dated February 19th, 2026.
All right, I'll now entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance on first reading.
So moved.
All right, Clerk, can I please have a roll call?
Roll call MC 2026-05. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Vice President Hockaday.
Yes.
Council President Cherry.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been adopted on first reading. That concludes ordinances on first reading this evening.
Excellent. A total of 30 minutes has been allocated for all public comments. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes. Please state your name and municipality. The floor is now open. The floor is now open. Hi.
Hi, how are you, everybody? My name is Tanisha Stephen Brown. My name is Tanisha Stephen Brown. I live 537 Belvedere Avenue. And I'm coming today to get some type of rectification and clarity on signage that was posted across the street at 536 Belvedere Avenue. A sign was put up with no parking from here to the corner. Then it was a no parking sign at the request of my neighbor. And then it has a permit only, all in a span of 1 block. My husband is now receiving tickets from the Plainfield Police Department, and he's a state of New Jersey employee with his truck. So now we're just trying to find out, I've reached out to Economic Development, and what I was told is that the ordinance has been in place for years, but as I look through all these ordinances, they contradict each other. So I'm just seeing if someone can assist me before we go to court to find out what signage should be in this area, so we don't continue getting tickets. And I don't know if I should leave the pictures. I left them with Economic Development, but I got no response.
Yes, what's your first name?
Tanisha Brown.
Tanisha, can you leave the pictures with the clerk? With Winston? Yep. And before you leave tonight, we'll try to have an answer? Do you? Okay. We'll do our best to try to get an answer. Name and city?
Hi, my name is Meg. I'm from Plainfield. Just have a couple points to bring up pretty quickly. One is regarding the resolution that was passed, I believe, in February. As I commented before, I do believe that kind of sets a dangerous precedent to start restricting things in public comment. I feel like it's the job of the council to listen to the people, regardless of how they choose to express their comments outside of direct threats or personal attacks. I also think limiting public comment to residents also excludes those who work here. In terms of virtual comment, I want to thank you, Council President Cherry, for addressing this earlier, and I appreciate your attention to this matter. Third, there's a community meeting that is set on March 23rd about immigrant rights and federal enforcement. Originally, this date was changed from the 4th to the 23rd. The flyer on the website had incorrect information after calling. They have amended that. I guess my question is, has outreach been done to the community outside of a notification on the app for schools? And what has been done to inform local businesses? Additionally, how will you ensure the safety of those who want to attend but are at risk? There was an email that was sent out through Indivisible's Plainfield area who reached out to the mayor. I'm not sure if that was shared with you, but if you could confirm receipt, that would be excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Meg? Name and city.
Sharon Vincent, Plainfield resident. Madam President, members of the council, I want to again thank the city council and the mayor for scheduling a meeting on March 23rd to help inform and keep people informed about their rights and what's going on with ICE and the brutality and discrimination that's taken place. But I also, again, following up on the last speaker, would request that some additional outreach is done to the churches, to mosques, to various community organizations and centers in the community. Also, if they could have Know Your Rights training included. And then again, some people might feel very scared to come out. So whatever that additional outreach can be done to help inform people that this is an excellent forum to attend would be appreciated. Also, on Saturday, March 28th, we will have the third No Kings rallies across the country. At No Kings 2, we had out over 6 million people. Our goal is to, again, increase that participation to up to 9 to 10 million people, and I know we will meet that goal. We are asking all people in the Plainfield area and surrounding areas to please go to indivisible.com and to also participate in the rallies that we will have in this area. We say no kings. We say protect the people in this country, no illegal wars, and we appreciate any help and assistance that members of the community, the council people representing your residents and the citizens, we appreciate all of the support and outreach that we can get. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Talia McCoy, 1400 West 3rd Street, Plainfield, New Jersey. I just have a concern. I wanted to know if I was in the right type of meeting. I called the other day concerning the parking tickets around the corner. I just opened up a new business on North Ave, and when I spoke to the lady here, she said that this was the type of meeting to come to address your concern. So I just wanted to know how would I be able to obtain parking? Because I noticed around the corner at the dispensary place, they have a whole street for their parking. So I was just interested to find out how would I be able to obtain that, because I just opened a business and we pay to park, and sometimes they will give a ticket even if the ticket meter is not working. So two things, was just coming to see how can I obtain parking for my business, how the business around the corner has that street, you know, with their parking. I just wanted to know, do you have to pay for it? Is something that you have to pay for the block, you know, to have parking for your business? Or like, does the city offer, you know, passes for a business where we won't have to be so concerned with the parking meter because, you know, it's right around the corner and it's busy. And sometimes, you know, they're doing their job, but it's been a time where the parking meter was broken and they still gave a ticket. So those are my two concerns on tonight.
Thank you, Talia. Name and city.
Salvatore Carano, 1284 East Front Street. First, I want to say thank you to some of the city council for reaching out, understanding the issues that are in front of my home, the concern of the health of my neighbor, the store that was permitted to open. First, let me also say, I don't generally like the system in the sense that the public speaks, you get to choose which question is going to be answered. And the last meeting when this was brought up, economic development only answered one or two of my concerns. I have witnessed Mr. Abney say, here's my phone number, call me. I have not gotten a response. I have attempted to have meetings. Many of you have voiced your concerns, have seen over 50 pictures, witnessed multiple accidents, all caused by decisions from some of you in this room. I've just discussed this recently. The legal matters will be taken care of, but there's also a public safety matter that the city could address, and this isn't the platform of it at times, yet I haven't heard any discussion on public safety in front of the home. Today I witnessed two baby carriages, no walk lanes, no obstruction of driveways. We have to live literally in front of orange cones in front of our driveway. No one in this city should be subjected to that. Nobody. But we are. And I don't see other areas subjected to that. It was quoted in the 1950s, they got the mixed use for next door. Well, the legal matters will take care of itself. But did anybody consider the fact that you gut a building is vacant, whether it be residential and or commercial, and it's not 1950 regulations, it's 2025, 2026 regulations. Now, some of you frequent the store and you don't agree with me. That's okay. It will be taken care for that way. But when people are walking across the street, when people are blocking driveways, time and time again, it's not fair, and it's not public safety that you're not addressing.
Thank you, Sal. Name and city?
Madeline Carano, 1284 East Front Street. I can't shoot from the hip like him, so I'm going to read, okay? I'm here to address a serious safety hazards and zoning concerns created by the recent approval of the operation of a storefront at the intersection of East Front Street and Raymond Avenue. This business was permitted to open in a residential zone district when commercial uses are restricted and subject to special review standards under the Plainfield Land Use Ordinance. The current conditions raise significant questions about whether the required zoning, parking, and safety criteria were properly evaluated before approval. This location sits on a heavily trafficked county road with limited parking and narrow sightlines. Since the business opened, daily conditions have become increasingly unsafe for residents who live next door or on the same block or across the street. Because the storefront lacks adequate parking, customers routinely park off-street in ways that obstruct visibility of oncoming traffic. Residents attempting to exit their driveways, including my own household, must do so without a clear line of sight, creating a direct risk of collisions. Vehicles, taxis, and ride-share services frequently stop directly in front of our driveway to drop off or pick up customers, and others idle while waiting for a space to open in front of the store. This repeated obstruction interferes with our legal right of access to our property and violates basic safety expectations for residential zones. The store's private driveway is a narrow single-lane space that accommodates only 3 to 4 vehicles. When full, the last vehicle often blocks the sidewalk, forcing pedestrians, including children, seniors, and individuals with mobility disadvantages into the roadway. This is inconsistent with Plainfield's sidewalk obstruction rules, which require sidewalks to remain clear for safe pedestrian usage. Traffic disruptions have also become routine. Vehicles stop in the travel lane, make U-turns and K-turns, and at times obstruct public buses from passing through. Cars parked too close to the corner of Raymond Avenue force drivers making a left turn to swerve into oncoming traffic. These behaviors create daily hazards that conflict with the intent of residential zoning, which to protect neighborhood safety, preserve traffic flow, and present incompatible commercial impacts. If the property previously operated under a grandfathered non-conforming mixed-use designation, it is important to note that such rights are not permanent. Under established zoning principles reflected in municipal codes throughout New Jersey, non-conforming rights are lost through abandonment.
Madeline, thank you so much for your comment.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Name and city?
Leona McLeod, 616 Pemberton Avenue. Did you hear me?
I didn't hear you say.
Leona McLeod, 616 Pemberton Avenue. My concerns are, I've had 3 cars totaled in front of my house. I've been in my property for 20 years. The city is familiar with me because I've had my sidewalk torn up about 3 times. I've had my property torn up a lot of times, my sidewalk, my railings, all of this stuff have been replaced. As recent as Saturday past, I had some guests over, and one of my guests didn't get a chance to get out the car. They had a Tesla, and that was hit due to the fact that there was a concession that always come up Pemberton Avenue, and the driver went around that and hit his vehicle. So I'm requesting speed bumps or some kind of something on Pemberton Avenue. They have put stop signs, but I can't afford to lose any more vehicles, my insurance going up, and my property being damaged. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nancy Pivar, Plainfield. A couple things. The people that are stood up about the community meeting, I would encourage the city to consider doing immigrant rights training at that community meeting. I have attended some of them, and I have learned a lot of things, and I have been able to pass that knowledge on and hopefully protect immigrants. My grandparents were immigrants, so it's an issue close to my heart. I appreciate Councilwoman Sessions for discussing the $3 billion deficit. We're in some tumultuous times right now, and next year is going to be tough for a lot of seniors, and not just seniors, but people on fixed incomes because of what's going on in the Middle East. I talked today to my fuel oil company, and I will now have to pay over $140 a month more. That's what they're projecting. I probably got in on the lower end, but I'm sure it's going to go up. And there's a lot of people in this town that depend on fuel oil because our houses are older. And we're going to have a lot more people that are going to be in trouble next year. And I'm very concerned about the county pulling out for the veterans. My brother's a veteran. My uncles were veterans. My father worked at at Mack Truck during World War II after working all day to help with the war effort. We need to take care of our veterans any way we can, tighten our belts, because we're going to have more veterans coming back that are going to be injured and needing housing. Luckily, my family didn't need housing, but I do know other people that will need housing, and I hope that you do something about that. And my last concern is, I don't know if people follow the young man that takes care of Greenbrook Park, but there's a real issue of erosion of the Greenbrook, and it's going to impact the Clinton Avenue Bridge, and if somebody doesn't take a look at that soon, whether it's the county, Somerset County, whoever, Army Corps of Engineers, it could eventually undermine the engineering of the Clinton Avenue Bridge. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy.
Joel, Plainfield. Good evening, Madam President,
Good evening.
City Council, Administration. I came out to speak out against the removal of virtual comment, but Madam President stole my thunder. Thankfully, we still have an ethical president. But today I don't personally drive for personal reasons, so I had to Uber here, and then I have to Uber back. Thankfully, I have a support system, and I'm a single parent, but my mom is watching my child. But if not, I would have had to pay someone to watch my child, and we shouldn't be having to pay to participate in civic life. That doesn't make sense. So I just want to thank Madam President, and I also want to say Mayor Mapp did respond to my long email saying that the administration is forced to do so. He thinks we can't read and interpret things for ourselves, because if you read, it doesn't force you to do anything. He is reading it and interpreting it to his benefit and at our expense, and is very unbecoming of someone who's running for Congress. So thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Joelle, for your comment. Name and city for the record.
Good evening, Ayana Gilmore, Plainfield. If any of you have been down West Front Street recently, you'll notice that there are many businesses and a few individual residents that are absolutely filthy. There is a ton of litter everywhere. I've reported constantly some of these businesses, and also residents, people within the Department of Public Works who answer the call. They're lovely, they're amazing. There are limitations to what they can do about the litter, which I totally understand. But what I want to see as a resident here of Plainfield is I want to see clean streets. Plainfield is lovely, the people here are lovely, the litter is intolerable. And I know that this council, the members here, the mayor's office, you guys can put on initiatives to help to promote cleanliness in the streets. I'd love to see that. The mayor put on a hashtag Love Plainfield, right before his mayoral elections. We were out here, we were cleaning the streets. It was wonderful. Okay, we can continue to do those things and keep our community clean. The litter in the 4th Ward is so bad. It's really, really bad. Okay, there needs to be accountability. Businesses need to be responsible for helping to keep the community clean. And then also landlords, who I would say are slumlords, they need to be responsible for helping to keep the city clean. And also just for the people who are living in their homes. That's unfair to those people, okay? We have MC 2026-03. There's going to be more small lot redevelopment. That means that possibly people can be building like lots and, putting a bunch of people on these small lots. That's going to cause a lot of litter, right? And a lot of that might be happening in the 4th Ward, which is a concern for me because I live in the 4th Ward. So I'd really love to see that. I'd love to just see more promotion of like cleanliness in the city and especially in the 4th Ward. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gilmore. Name and city for the record.
Good evening. Sebastian Torres, Plainfield. I admittedly missed your comments regarding the online situation, right? Not being able to talk online and stuff like that or participate online. So I don't know what you as president said about that. I guess it was something good because Joelle said it was good, so I'll go with Joelle. My daughter, well, I came today, obviously, to talk, and my wife wanted to talk as well. My daughter's in the back. She's sneezing her head off. She got boogers all over Mr. Carano back there. I don't feel like I should have to come to the meetings if my daughter is sick and I could participate from home, okay? We have tools available that can help us be more democratic, that can help us participate, all of us, right, without having any issues. There's no reason for me to be sneezing on Mr. Carano, for my daughter to get him sick. There's no reason for it. So let's, that's, again, like Joelle said excellently, let's not use these laws and these things to just hide and to shut people down. That's not what that's not what they're signed for. That's not what they're supposed to be for. In addition, no, forget it. My wife said it all. We're good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Torres. Anybody else for public comment? All right, can I have a motion to close public comment?
Seconded.
All right, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
No, we're going to have a motion to, excuse me? Can I have a motion to adjourn? Wait, I'm sorry. We're going to answer the questions. Let's do the low-hanging fruit. The litter.
I've noticed a lot of litter as well. I guess most of it's from the recent storms. The solid waste then, we're putting together actually an earlier cleanup. We usually start our cleanups in April, but the weather has been favorable, so we're going to look to do something, if not this Saturday, next Saturday, and we'll definitely look at the streets that, were prioritized. I know that Public Works, they got their street sweepers out. They're weather sensitive, but the weather has been cooperating as well, so hopefully we'll see an improvement in the streets with the litter.
And Tanisha, I know you asked a question about 526 Belvedere. If you could leave your contact information.
Ma'am, I have it.
Oh, you have it?
Yeah, in regards to the even-numbered side of the street on Belvedere Avenue, if you go to the city's municipal code, in the Schedule 16A, it addresses that. On that side of the street, which is the east side of the street of Belvedere Avenue, there's no parking from South Avenue all the way up to Park Terrace. So if the car is parked on the even side of the road, it would receive a ticket.
So I did get, Winston, the ordinance that's the contradiction. It's 3 different ordinances for the east side of Belvedere. One says no parking from 8 to 10, one says no parking at all. So I'm just trying to get clarity on which, and it's one that just actually was passed October of 2025 for the 2-hour no parking. So that contradicts the no parking on the east side.
Okay, I'll talk to you more offline about it, all right? In terms of the ICE event, I know there was a comment in regards to that. The ICE event that we had last year when the current president took office, it was at the same location, right? Okay, at that event, we did, at the Booker School, the other one's at the PPAC. Okay. We didn't have any issues at that event in terms of, I know if there's a concern, I guess, in terms of attending that event for undocumented persons, please come out. You won't have any issues in regards to that. We didn't have any issues last year. We don't expect any issues this year. This is about putting out support to the community in regards to that event. So if the concern is that, oh, maybe we shouldn't come out, somebody will be sitting outside for us or something like that, that's not going to happen. That didn't happen last year. You don't have to worry about that. That doesn't generally happen at these types of events. And I see a young lady sitting back there looking confused. After the meeting, we can talk about that, so you can get some clarity from me. In regards to...
Police Director, will that
Yes.
be televised?
I'll take part of that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, so I can talk to a piece of this. There will be a virtual option because we recognize the fact that everyone should not be present. We also recognize that everyone can't be present. So there is a virtual option, and I think that some of the people who will be at that panel will be talking about immigrant rights. We have an attorney who will be present. We have a regional activist who will be present. We do have someone who's a community worker going out to all the various houses of worship. I will not say that list is comprehensive, so if you have individuals or communities that should be contacted, by all means, let us know, and we will reach out to them. We have no problem doing that. We don't make the assumption that we know everyone. We do make the assumption that we reach out as many times as we can. I know that one of the contacts was the Board of Education because the youth that did appear. We do think that it's important that youth appear at this meeting because they are at in many ways, the forefront of the activities that are going on across the nation. I think that I covered everything. If not, I'll stay a few minutes later to cover anything else.
I think, Director, there was questions about the outreach efforts.
Yeah. So I think I said it. We have a community worker who's reaching out to nonprofits, who's reaching out to houses of worship and community partners. As I just said, we may not know everyone, because there are different types of community partners, right? There's the official community partners, and there's those who just do the work of the community. They don't have a LLC, they don't have a nonprofit, but they do the work. We would just want everybody who can attend to attend. So if we don't have that information, or you think there's someone that we should reach out to, by all means, get us that information as well.
Okay. Yeah. I got one more thing. In regards to the store on East Front Street, First things first, my office is very responsive to the needs of the community and also to the needs of the council. In regards to this property that a storefront has opened and there's concerns with parking and public safety, I have been in constant contact with the council in regards to this. We are actually doing a traffic study in that area that has been initiated by the police department. We started that. That will be presented to the council at the next meeting. So I don't want the public to feel that the police department is either forsaking their duties or not doing what they're supposed to do. In the meantime, we will constantly, working with economic development, the parking authority is constantly out in that area, and so is the police department. And we will continue to be out there until we can work towards a resolution to the problem regarding the store on East Front in Raymond, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Director.
Council President, if I may, say a few
Yes,
words
Councilman.
regarding the store. And my constituent, Salvatore, mentioned there was an accident because of the store, when in fact the accident happened 400 feet away from the store and had nothing to do with the store. And I don't know if you have any information on that, Director, on the accident that my constituent had mentioned. I am one of the council people that frequent that store. I am a patron. It is a legal business. Those parking spaces are legal parking spaces. There's actually a backstory as to how this business got there, and I wish that our economic development director were here. Maybe we can bring in the property owner so that she can give her side of the whole equation as to how we all got here. Maybe we can tackle that next month when everyone's here, and we can kind of open this whole thing up to understand both sides so that the public is not just getting one side. Let's bring out the facts in this story.
Also, Council President, if I just may interject from a legal
Yes, thank you.
standpoint, various claims were made by Mr. Carano with regard to legal action that he might take. In light of that, I'd ask that we coordinate any response through my office. Please don't feel that you're compelled to have to respond to anything that's been said this evening. On behalf of the city of Plainfield, we have to protect the city as an entity. And if claims are being filed, I'm going to ask that council refrain from engaging on those specific land use claims that he raised this evening.
Thank you, Corporation
Thank you.
Council. B.A. Levison, the veterans.
Yes, so the county, unfortunately, like all of us, had to make some decisions, and they only had 5 veterans in Dudley House. They had never actually been able to get it to capacity, and so because of other cuts that came down through the federal government, grants, et cetera, they had to make funding decisions, and so that's how that unfortunately came about.
Thank you. So for 2 residents, Ms. McLeod, I asked Councilwoman Sessoms to put the speed bump on the list and make a formal request to the director. And Ms. McCoy, if you could follow up with B.A. Levison after the meeting. And I think those are all the questions. All right, can I entertain a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's been properly moved in second. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.